Hey everybody, took a field trip yesterday and wanted to make this video to let you know how it went. Took a little trip to Logansport, Indiana. If you're not aware what's in Logansport, Indiana, that would be Fiberglass Freaks Batman Museum. It's a museum based off of the 1960s Adam West Batman TV show. It was a neat building. It was not a very large building, but it was fun nonetheless to take in and be there and take in everything that they had there. When you first walk in, it's the gift shop and some memorabilia stuff, and then you'll turn a corner and you'll walk into a room, and it's almost like a portal jump into the 60s, and you're back in the living room of Wayne Manor, where you come across the desk that has the bronze bust and the bat phone where Batman would get his calls from Commissioner Gordon. The neat thing about this room is that everything in this room is a replica and a remake of what was in that room on the show. From the bookcase to the books to the phone to the bust to the furniture. There was even an old school TV that was playing episodes of the show, showing scenes in that room so that you could kind of look and see that, oh man, that's pretty accurate to what the show was like. And another accurate point of this was before we left the room, we got a nice little show as to what that bronze bust could do. Yep, tilt the head back and push the button and da-da-da-da, you have the poles that'll take you down to the Bat Cave. Now, I tried, guys. I tried to take and slide down these poles, but the guys at the museum were not having it. They said that because of legal aspects, I could not partake in descending the poles to go down to the Bat Cave, which is fine. It's fine. It's okay. It was just a dream of mine. It's all right. Moving on. So when you get done with this room, you go to the next one. They show about a 20-25 minute video about a couple guys that are notorious for collecting vintage 1960s Batman memorabilia and toys and collectibles. Adam West was within the film too, meeting with these two individuals. So that was cool to see, of all the toys and trinkets and stuff that were made all the way back then, 6 decades ago, even more than 6 decades ago, to see, what was made back then, the quality of it, and then to see, that it's stood stood time and what it's worth today. But once you got done with the movie, you went to the next phase of the museum, which was this beauty right here, which is a prop, replication of a prop they used for a notorious scene within the show. The scene was that Batman and Robin were wanting to climb the side of a skyscraper to spy on the Riddler, who was holding a man hostage. Now, back then, they didn't have the technology and stuff that we do today, obviously CGI, but they didn't have the gear and the equipment to scale a building like that. So what they did is they built the building, but built it on its side, and then had the actors climb on top of it and just walk across, but act like they were climbing vertically up the side of this building. So then when they transitioned it to film for the show, they flopped the picture and made it look as if they were climbing vertically up the side of the skyscraper. Now, this is a piece at the museum that you can yourself get on top of and have pictures taken of you, quote unquote, scaling the skyscraper as Batman and Robin did. Moving on from that, we get to a section of the museum where they have the Rogues Gallery. So that would be the villains for Batman back in the 60s and their different outfits. There's not very many. Obviously, back in the 60s in that show, they had a number of villains on that show, but this is probably the most popular for that time period on the show. The first one you come across would be Mr. Freeze. That is his outfit from the 60s, minus the astronaut type helmet that he wore in the show. Moving on from Mr. Freeze, you have the iconic Catwoman and her outfit. Moving on from Selena, you have Oswald Cobblepot. You have the Penguin. He was a notorious villain on that show back in the 60s. Moving on from the Penguin, next to him you have the Riddler. The Riddler was another, I mean, in my viewpoint, you had the top 3 villains for that show were Penguin, Riddler, and then obviously you're going to have, after Riddler, the number 1 villain for the 60s is none other than the Joker, played by Cesar Romero. He is the first Joker that we get on film for Batman, and it's iconic. He did a phenomenal job playing the Joker, especially in the time period that it was in. You got to remember that this show was back in the 60s. Acting has just grown since then, so you can't take a Heath Ledger Joker and compare it to a Cesar Romero Joker and think that they're going to be the same and they're going to weigh the same. They're not. They're just not. The technology and the acting styles were totally different, and so, but for his time period and the first Joker that we ever see, he did a phenomenal job. The last set of outfits that you're going to see is going to be a villain that I really didn't like. I still to this day I really don't like, even in the comics, and that's the Mad Hatter. But moving on from the Mad Hatter and the Rogues Gallery, you move down a flight of stairs, and that takes you to the actual Batcave itself. And within the Batcave itself, you come across more toys and collectibles that are in cases for you to see, more modern stuff as well too, in the first section of the Batcave. But then once you get to the meat and potatoes of the basement of this building, you come across the iconic 1966 Adam West Batman outfit and Burt Ward's Robin outfit as well. They also have the Batmobile down there, which I will add to the end of this video. I know last year I got a chance to actually sit in that particular car. They had it at the Hall of Heroes Con in Elkhart, and I got a chance to sit in that and take photos in that. So it was a nice feeling to be able to stand there and see it again. Couldn't touch it, but I had already touched it. I already sat in it. But at the end of this, you see these two outfits. You see the Batmobile, and you see the poles that you saw from upstairs. You see the end of them to where they would come down and enter the Batcave. And then that is the museum itself. You end with the Batcave. You go back upstairs, you go to the gift shop, and they have figures up there and coffee cups and a couple books, typical gift shop stuff. Wasn't a bad experience. Again, it's a smaller facility, but you can't expect them to have everything from the 60s. So for $15 for 2 hours, I thought it was worth it. As a Batman fan, I enjoyed myself. Again, I went by myself. Would I go again? Of course. I plan on going again in the near future. I hope to get a friend from Fort Wayne, Juan Reed's Comics. Him and I have been talking about going together, and this time it didn't work out for our schedules both together. So I ended up going by myself to kill some time because it was my last day off of work. So hopefully here in the near future I can get Juan to go and tag along with me and make the trip again. And hopefully this video kind of inspires you to take and maybe want to go check it out. If it's a show that you guys grew up with, if this is an older crowd that's watching this and you grew up watching that show, go check it out. I mean, it'll be a blast from the past, and I guarantee you're going to enjoy it. It's a nice little, hour and a half little tour through the museum. So hopefully this video gets you to go see them over at Fiberglass Freaks in Logansport.